I'm sharing some Tim Holtz and Sizzix brand new dies with you today. Hey everyone, it's Joy here and welcome to my channel. So the three things I'm going to be sharing with you is the love notes. So you have die cuts and embossing folders. This is the letter board. You have die cuts and an embossing folder. And then this is Celebrate with the die cuts and embossing folder. I'm going to create two cards for you today using a mixture of these. I'm going to start with the Celebrate die. I have die cut balloons from the Pastel Glossy Cardstock from scrapbook.com, and I want to say thank you so much, scrapbook.com, for sending me these products, and I'm super excited that I get to share them all with you. So I have my little balloons die cut, and I'm using that embossing folder that comes with the Celebrate collection here, and I have die cut those. I obviously die cut more balloons than I use on this card. I'm using 3, but I always tend to go a little extra. So now that I have those die cut and embossed, here's our cute little streamers that I've also die cut from the Pastel Glossy Cardstock from scrapbook.com. The colors are beautiful, you guys. I love them. I'm using them on this card. The next card I'm doing something different. So I'm gluing my little pieces together. You have like this solid streamer piece that I die cut in a teal color, and then this little piece that I'm gluing on top is like every other one. So maybe you're looking at the back side because it's the fun streamers that are twisted. That's what this looks like. And I die cut that from the pastel green cardstock in the Pastel Glossy paper pad. So I'm going to glue these together. I think I did 5. I ended up using all 5. Now I started off by wanting to create a shaker card, which technically I did. It didn't work the way I wanted, but I actually don't hate it. And when I get to that point, I'll explain why. And then I will also explain how to do it so it works properly. I just kind of wasn't thinking about it. So I have a piece of white cardstock. This is mixed media cardstock from scrapbook.com, and I'm using their nested squares die. I have die cut that out of the top piece of this A2 size white cardstock. I'm going to add some liquid glue and then a piece of acetate from scrapbook.com. This is going to create our shaker window. So I'm going to adhere that down, and then I'm going to add my first layer of 2mm foam adhesive. Now I should have done the 3mm foam adhesive. That probably would have helped more with the shaker bits. I have also die cut a next larger square from the yellow pastel glossy paper just so it fills up that window. So using those nested squares, I did one size up than the window that I have for the acetate. So I wanted the streamers to be behind the window in the shaker area, and I wanted them to have a little bit of dimension. So I didn't want them adhered directly to the acetate. So I'm adding my layer of 2mm foam adhesive. Now usually when you do a shaker, you want to do 2 layers of foam adhesive, which is what I'm going to do, but I should have done 3. I still would do just this first one. Then I'm going to adhere my streamers to that behind the window. So this is going to give it a little bit of depth moving backwards. It's not directly adhered to the back. It's not adhered to the front. And I think it turns out really, really cute. I like this look a lot. So I want to just adhere those down. So I'm going to arrange those all over the whole background. Now the mistake that I made, and after I already put it together, I wasn't going to try to pull it apart, and I was okay with it. But if you want it to be a complete shaker, I would add 2 more layers of foam adhesive passed on top of this back piece. After you add your streamers, add 2 more layers of foam adhesive. Then your little shaker bits will move more freely, because mine did not. Mine were catching on the streamers, but I'll tell you why I like that here in just a minute. You can see to the left there in my little sort and stack tray, I have those little curlicues. I die cut a bunch of those. That comes in this Celebrate die set, and I die cut that from a bunch of that fun pastel glossy paper. So those are going to be my shaker bits. So now I want to get my second layer of foam adhesive. Again, if you want your shaker bits to move better than mine, I would do 2 layers here. So you would have a total of 3 layers of your foam adhesive. So I'm just going to lay this on the top, and when you peel off your release paper off the top, you can bend the foam adhesive strips in any shape that you want. I'm going to add a little bit more down here at the bottom. That way that has some foam adhesive as well. Let's get just a few more pieces here. And then I'm going to add my little shaker bits. Oh, I'm just folding this piece in half. I grabbed 2 off of this sheet here, and then I fold them in half, and that's a real quick way to get 2 on top of each other. I had to do it the harder or longer way in that window because I had put the streamers there. So let's put in our little shaker bits. You can see we have our balloons cut out, of course, because we did the die cutting with those. And then I have the little strings from black cardstock. So let's peel off our release paper, put this in, and then they did not want to shake, you guys. They were kind of staying in place, and I was kind of bummed. But I will tell you what I like about it. It looks like everything has just exploded. Like if you had one of those little popper things and all those streamers flew out, that's what it looks like in the background. So I don't hate it. But if you want it to be a better shaker, add more foam adhesive. Now I glued my balloons to the strings. I'm adding some foam adhesive behind the balloons, and those are going to be over that window. So it just looks like there's a fun party going on in the background, which I think is really super cute. So I'm going to place those together, and then I am going to be using the letter board. Now there is a coordinating little embossing folder that gives you the lines for the letter board. I am just going to be using the letters, and I have the HB to you, so happy birthday to you. That's what I'm going to use. I'm going to die cut this from mixed media black cardstock from scrapbook.com. I'm going to tape this in place, but I'm going to die cut this 3 separate times because I want some dimension for my sentiment. So I'm just going to use some reverse tweezers and glue my 3 layers together. And this is going to give us a nice chunky, almost like the feel and look of chipboard. So really nice and thick. So let me finish getting these last ones glued together. And I'm going to line that up. I'm just using my little ruler here. That way I can make sure it's level, but I'm going to line that up in the center. And I like that black sentiment against that really white background. And I kept it really simple and white because I did love all of the colors of the streamers and the balloons and everything. So here's our first card, and it is so super cute. Let's go to our second card. This is the Love Notes. We have just really cute heart candy box, a letter. I'm just going to go with the letters and the arrow. I'm using paper from the Charming paper pad. I've also used vellum. I've die cut a square using the same nesting squares, or nested squares, excuse me. And then a piece of gold mirror cardstock that I'm going to die cut from those nested squares as well. I have that cute little die that's going to give us the envelopes. I have die cut 3 of them. I only ended up using 2. And I'm going to fold on the score lines. And I used this thicker cardstock. So I folded it both directions, and then it kind of really came together nicely. And then there's also a little heart in the Love Notes die that I have die cut from lighter blue paper that has cute little flowers from the Charming paper pad. Then I have that gold mirror cardstock square and that cute heart embossing folder. It has solid hearts and then open hearts. And I thought that would be fun to die cut the gold mirror cardstock from that because I think it just looks so pretty, and it's going to give us a little bit more texture on this background. Now let's adhere those envelopes together. I have some glue I'm going to adhere down. One will be closed, another one will be open because we are going to create a little love note inside. So I'm going to leave the top open on one and close the top on the other, which we will add the little heart. But I have 2 hearts, so we're going to adhere that. Look at how cute these envelopes are. But first, I'm going to do a little bit of ink blending with the Tattered Rose Distress Oxide ink. It's kind of this orangey, corally pink color, really light, and I thought it went well with those orange flowers on that dark blue patterned paper. So I'm going to do that for both of those envelopes. I did do the one side. I didn't know if I was going to have that turned over, so I did both sides of that other envelope, but this one I'm just going to do this side because that's the one that is going to be open. So I have another piece of cardstock. I'm going to trim that down to a small little letter size. But first let's glue our cute hearts. So these are those little hearts that I die cut from that pattern paper, the blue and white. It's so pretty. Then I'm going to use the Vintage Scripts rub-on for our little letter. It is so perfect, you guys. It turned out so cute. So I'm going to trim this down. I'm going to fold it into thirds, and then we can put the rub-ons on here. And I don't know about you guys, but I, as often as I can, I try to watch scrapbook.com's lives, which are like Tuesdays and Thursdays at like 9 a.m. Pacific time. And one of the viewers was watching and they said, hey, put your rub-on your paper and run it through your die cut machine. So that is what I'm going to do here. You don't even have to take that little stick out and rub it anymore, you guys. Run it through your die cut machine. I did it just forward and back because that's just how I do it. And then I just slowly peeled off that plastic paper and it was completely onto the back. I just pushed the stuff that was hanging off the side, pushed that around the side. And then let's do some little bit of ink blending, actually directly to my ink pad. And then I'm going to take my scissors and rough it up. But isn't that a great tip? Totally worth watching the lives for. You always learn something new. So let me get this letter all kinds of distressed because we want to look like someone has read it over and over and over. And then I have another square using the nested squares that's slightly the next size up from the one that I used for the gold mirror background. And I just ink blended using that same Tattered Rose. Then we have that arrow. I added a gold mirror cardstock piece to the end, but it is die cut from that same white and blue patterned paper from the Charming pattern paper pad. Let's adhere that right to the center. I am leaving a little bit of edge around the sides because it's not quite A2. That large vellum square is not quite A2. So I'm making sure the top and the sides are all evenly spaced. Then foam adhesive behind my gold mirror center, and look at that fun dimension from that heart embossing folder. Let's adhere these down. Now, I did die cut my sentiment. It's going to say for you. I use the same letterboard alphabet dies. I die cut twice from white cardstock, once from gold mirror. I'm not going to show gluing them together because it's the same exact way that I did the happy birthday to you on that first card. But I am going to line those up at the bottom. But look at that cute letter. And then I'm going to tuck this little arrow in back here. I think this is such a pretty card. That patterned paper and these fun little envelope dies I just think are so darling. So here's my sentiment. I already glued all those together, again, giving that thicker dimension for my sentiment. And then I'm just going to line these up and use some liquid glue to adhere those down. I love sentiments like this. I love alphabet dies. I think they're so fun. And then you just really have this customized sentiment. Sorry about my head, you guys. I had to make sure that I was straight and lining things up. But these reverse tweezers are super helpful. And then, of course, liquid glue makes this so easy. So if you put it down and it's a little bit crooked, you do have some time to like slide it around and move it. And then this will be adhered to a white A2 size card base. Last letter here. And then we can take a look at both of these cards. I love this one. I just think it's so fun with that little letter. And then I love the balloons and those streamers on this card. This is such a simple, fun, colorful card for anybody. This works for anybody. I think these turned out so fabulous. Let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you enjoyed these projects and I hope that you feel inspired. Have a wonderful day. Bye.